What is up, you guys? I am Missy Renee. In today's video, we're going to answer the question, how can I tell if any of this is working? So if manifestation and conscious creation are topics that you are interested in learning more about, definitely do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so that way you're notified when I come out with new videos every week. If you're interested in more resources such as one-on-one coaching, I will have links down below along with other helpful resources, so definitely be sure to check them out. So this seems to be the biggest stumbling block, or at least one of the biggest stumbling block. And I've noticed that this is the question that I have been asked repeatedly by every single client that I've had. And it's certainly something that I had to figure out and go through myself. When we are new to this, when we are taking on something that we have never really done before, and we are trying to adopt a new way of living, it can be very difficult to understand and kind of be able to see if this is working or if you're doing it right. Because we don't have anything to really measure it off of. We don't have anything that we can tangibly hold on to with our physical senses like we do with something else. When we are learning a new instrument or a new language or any other new skill, there's ways to tell if we are progressing. And it may not always feel like that at the beginning when all of this is still brand new. So it has become one of the burning questions that everybody wants to know is, how can I tell if I'm on the right track? How can I tell if this is working or not? How can I tell if I'm wasting my time or if I screwed up somewhere? What is the thing that I need to look out for to determine if I am doing this right or not? So if you are curious to learn the exact way to tell if you are doing this right, if you are curious to learn about what to look out for to know that you're on the right path, then definitely stick around to the end of the video, because we're going to talk about the one thing that you absolutely need to look out for, and the only thing that you really need to gauge to be able to tell if you are actually living in the end or not. But just really quick before we get started, I want to let you guys know about my upcoming workshop this Saturday, the 6th, about self-concept mastery. For those of you who watch my channel, you know that I beat this drum consistently because self-concept is the number one thing and focus when it comes to manifesting and changing your reality. So this weekend, I'm going to do a 2.5-hour deep dive into everything that you need to know and understand, and the importance of self-concept mastery and changing the concept of self so that you can ultimately manifest the life that you want. If you are interested in joining, I will have the link down below to sign up to my new membership group, where every month we're going to be doing a workshop on a different manifestation topic. I'll have all the info in the description box, so definitely be sure to check it out, sign up, and I will see you this Saturday. The most important thing that you need to know and understand about conscious creation, the only thing that you need to measure in order to know if you're doing this right, is the degree in which it feels natural and real to you. And guys, this video might be one of the most important I have ever made, so you may want to take some notes for this one, just a heads up. Feeling it real is so incredibly important, so much so that if this is not able to be achieved, then ultimately you will not see a change happen in your life. And I do not see this really being discussed enough, especially considering just how important this aspect of the conscious creation process is. Neville spoke very frequently about the importance of feeling it real. And he went as far as saying that the reason people fail to manifest is because it doesn't feel natural to you, is because it doesn't feel like a part of you. It doesn't feel like this is something that would normally happen to you. And the reason that people fail to really grasp this and truly understand the importance of this is in part because it doesn't get talked enough about. But it truly is one of the most important things to grasp. And unless you are able to get yourself in a state that feels normal and natural and real to you, you're not going to be able to see the results. And this happens in part because of the way people are taught. Most people who have discovered the law of assumption and Neville Goddard have barely even read any of his work. A lot of times people will just look for YouTube coaches and these internet gurus to give them all the facts that they need to know. And instead of the emphasis being on the natural feeling and feeling it real, the emphasis is more put on techniques and more certain patterns and ways that we can try to force something to happen. But this is not the way to go about it. Conscious creation can make the impossible possible. It can change your world in the most spectacular and incredible ways, but it cannot do so unless you are able to capture the feeling of it as if it's real. And the first and most important thing to know about all of this, and really taking this to heart, is that your consciousness is the only reality. This is the only knowledge that you need to take away from all of this. Not the techniques, not about which guru you follow. All that is needed to trust and understand this is that knowing your consciousness is the only reality there is. Now, I know you might be saying right now, okay, well, if this idea is so brilliant, then why are people still struggling? Why are people still having a hard time with this if that's all they need to know? Well, to take a quote from Neville, man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes outside of his own state of consciousness. So let's go back and break that down really quick. It boils down, the reason that we struggle and the reason that we fight and the reason that this all seems so difficult is because we are hanging on to the illusion of separation. We still believe that everything outside of us is holding some kind of power over us. We believe in all of these causes and circumstances outside of ourselves when it is in fact the inner world that is creating all of it. We believe that other people, other events, other experiences, our job, our government, our family, our bank accounts, all of these other things ultimately hold the power over us. And we think that those things are the reason that we ultimately don't have what we want or that we can't manifest. The biggest problem becomes we give power to things that don't have any power over us. All of the 3D and everything in it is only a mirror of what is your consciousness, the contents of your consciousness. That's it. Everything is just a reflection of you. We form our concepts based on the outside circumstances, when in fact, this way of thinking is completely backwards. The concepts we carry don't come from our conditions. Our conditions come from the concepts that we carry. We think that we are poor because we don't have any money, when in fact, we don't have any money because we believe that we're poor. Everything that you see around you is only the contents of your consciousness. Though it may look like a material world, though it may look solidly real and give you that illusion of separation, this is all a world of imagination. Everything outside of you has been born from those concepts that you carry, not the other way around. So if this is still difficult for you to grasp and understand and hold faith in, it's because you don't actually believe that consciousness is the only reality. You have the exact amount of money that you believe is true. Your relationships look exactly how you think they would look like. The problem only becomes that we are convinced that we are the victim of circumstance, but the circumstances that we face are only the same as the concepts that we carry. And I cannot keep stressing this enough, so really take this to heart. If you want to change your circumstances, you must first change that state of consciousness. If you want to live your ideal life, you must be living the ideal first within. And the key to do this, the key to all of this, to understanding, to being able to tell if this is working for us, to know if we're on the right track or not, is feeling natural. It is the natural feeling that ultimately manifests in our world. We do not manifest what we want. We manifest what we believe to be true. We manifest things that feel normal and real and plausible and possible, that fit into those concepts that we carry. Boiling it all down, The reason that you do not have the thing that you want right now is because it doesn't feel natural to you. The reality of you having whatever it is that you desire doesn't feel normal. And that's the bottom line. Think about everything in your life right this moment. Everything that you have feels normal and natural to you. Your job feels normal to you. The amount of money you have in the bank feels normal to you. The circumstances surrounding the people in your life feel typical and normal for you. And you may think that these things feel normal because they are in your life and part of your everyday experience, but the truth is they're in your life and in your everyday experience because it feels natural and normal to you. For somebody who's a millionaire, having a big, luxurious house and a nice car or 5 feels completely natural. Whereas if you are currently struggling financially, that feeling is not going to feel so normal and natural to you. Trying to wear that concept may feel completely alien and like it's too good to be true, or that it's false and that it's a lie, that maybe you're not deserving of it or you're not worthy of having a lot of money. And because that is the feeling that you have around this thing, because having millions of dollars does not feel normal and natural to you, ultimately that's why it is not in your experience. A lot of people who are new to the law are under the false impression that you need to try to overinflate your confidence and your level of excitement in order to live in the end. But think about it this way. Somebody who has millions of dollars is not going to be flipping out and going over the moon every time they look at their bank account. For them, seeing their bank account holding millions of dollars is going to be another day in life. It's going to be the same old, same old. It's going to be no big deal because they're confident that they have a shitload of money. That millionaire may be feeling comfortable and secure and maybe that sense of freedom to do what they want, but they're not going to be trying to force these emotions and make themselves feel something that's already there. They don't have to fake it. It's part of who they are. He doesn't have to worry about if he's doing sats right or if he's affirming correctly, because it's just a fact of life for him. And this is exactly how it should feel for you too. It takes more than just doing a technique to ultimately manifest what you want. You need to step into that state, that version of you that already has millions of dollars and that successful business and that beautiful nice house and that charming wonderful husband or wife. That needs to feel like an everyday part of your existence. Who you see yourself as is exactly the conditions that you will experience. And if you look back over everything in your life, you can see for yourself that this is in fact true. So how can we tell if this is in fact working for us? Look at how it feels. Look at the feeling that you get when it comes to your desire. When you think about your desire, what are the first things that come up? Is it stress? Is it anxiety? Is it frustration? Is it disappointment? Is it doubt? The way you feel about anything in your life is going to tell you very clearly on whether or not it's going to materialize and become an experience for you. You got to be able to check in with yourself and see how you are feeling, and if you are in fact feeling it real. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people making, and I certainly did this too, was thinking incorrectly that I could just apply sats one time at night and then for the rest of the day go back to my terrible patterns and terrible thinking habits and go back to all of that old garbage and think that I was living in the end. This needs to be something that you are constantly and consistently noticing and making sure that you are aware of. If you are spending all day, every day, doubting and reacting and mentally fighting, that is not living in the end. So now that we know what to gauge and look out for, now that we know that feeling it real is the biggest indicator as to whether or not something will manifest for us, how do we go about convincing ourselves and making it so our state, our desired state, feels real? That part comes in two ways. First, finding the path of least resistance. I can't keep stressing this enough. You must find whatever technique or way that is going to be easiest for you. Everybody is different. Everybody has their own self-identity and their own conscious traits that are going to make some techniques easier for them versus others. Some people may be fantastic at visualizing in the state akin to sleep. For others, the go-to is affirmations or scripting. It ultimately doesn't matter what you use to get you in that state of the wish fulfilled. What matters is the degree in which it feels natural to you. I'm going to keep saying this over and over and over again, I promise. If you found that it's been months and this thing is still a struggle and you're having a hard time being able to see it or visualize it or conjure the feeling of it, then try something else. Something that I've gotten from just about every single one of my clients is this misconception that visualizing in the state akin to sleep is the only way or the best way to manifest whatever it is you want. This is not true. And let me repeat that. There are many ways of living in the end. Visualizing in the state akin to sleep is only one of many, and it does not hold more power than any other technique or method. They are all there to do the same thing, and that is getting you in your desired state with the least amount of effort. So if you are struggling with one kind of certain technique, then try another. Play around and see what feels the most natural and effortless for you. Drop this assumption that visualizing is the only way or the best way to do it. Because if there's one thing that I hope everybody has learned on this channel, it's that what you assume is ultimately going to be what you experience. So do not make things harder for yourself than they need to be. Find the path of least resistance and find the things and the techniques and the methods that feel best for you. Number 2 is persistence. This is not something that is going to come overnight. Just like any other new habit, this will take some time to become second nature to you. And it's not going to feel super real and effortless at first, at least not for most people. You can kind of think of this akin to buying a new pair of shoes or a new outfit. The first time you wear those shoes, they're probably going to feel a little awkward. They're brand new, they haven't been broken in. It might feel uncomfortable. It might feel stiff and kind of weird to walk around in them at first. But the more that you walk in them, the easier it gets. Until one day, it's just feels like it's a part of you. It feels super comfortable. It feels very natural to go run around in this state, in this pair of shoes. You can say the same exact thing about states of consciousness. When you are wearing a new state, it may not feel comfortable and natural at first. That is okay. Keep persisting and checking in with yourself to check your progress. Consistency and persistence are key. And with these two things, you will find that one day you wake up and conscious creation seems completely effortless to you. The more you wear it, the more you break it in, the more natural it's going to become. There is no secret fix. There is no get rich quick. There is no secret method or special way or special sauce to any of this. It is all very simple. So simple, in fact, that we tend to overcomplicate the hell out of all of this. So here are some words from Neville to break it all down. All things express their nature. As you wear a feeling, it becomes your nature. It might take a moment or a year. It is entirely dependent upon the degree of conviction. As doubts vanish and you can feel I am this, you begin to develop the fruit or the nature of the thing you are feeling yourself to be. When a person buys a new hat or pair of shoes, he thinks everyone knows that they are new. He feels unnatural with his newly acquired apparel until it becomes a part of him. The same applies to the wearing of the new states of consciousness. When you ask yourself the question, how would I feel if my desire were at this moment realized? The automatic reply, until it is properly conditioned by time and use, is actually disturbing. The period of adjustment to realize this potential of consciousness is comparable to the newness of the wearing apparel. Not knowing that consciousness is ever outpicturing itself in conditions round about you, like Lot's wife, you continually look back upon your problem and again become hypnotized by its seeming naturalness. So ultimately, the more that we keep acknowledging the 3D unwanted circumstances, and the more that we keep looking back to the old states and the old issues and the old ways of thinking, we're going to keep reverting back to those old ways. It's going to feel awkward and a little bit uncomfortable and unnatural at first. But at the end of the day, you hold the power to change all of it. You have the power to persist in that new state. You have the power to embody a new state of being and a new state of consciousness, akin to the things that you do desire versus what you don't want. If you don't like what you see, know and understand that you have the power to change all of it. By changing your state of consciousness, you change your reality. Everything is possible, and it is entirely up to you what you materialize and what you experience. But until it feels natural for you, you are going to be stuck in the state of desiring it. You will stay stuck in striving for something that is already yours. Creation is finished, you guys. You are already everything that you desire to be. The only reason that you do not see it is because you do not believe it. So step into that new state. Live in that new state as your new desired self as much as possible. This is not about just doing a technique once a day and then spending the rest of our waking hours in our unwanted and undesired state. No. This is about a change of consciousness, because with that, everything has to change. Your circumstances have to change and mold to fit that new state of consciousness. So check in with yourself. Be persistent and aware of where you are dwelling in consciousness, because it is only to the degree in which something feels real and natural for you that ultimately it's going to become your experience. Thankfully, you have the power to change everything. You have the power to get into a new state and feel it real and feel it natural. And you do this by finding your path of least resistance, or the technique that is most easy and effortless for you to follow, and then by persisting in it, by being aware of your mental diet and the mental activity in your day-to-day, and persisting in those new assumptions and those new concepts. Just like a new pair of shoes, in time, you're gonna break them in, and that new state of consciousness is going to feel just as real as the consciousness you are currently dwelling in now. So at the end of the day, you guys, if you were to forget everything else of all the teachings out there and could only keep one thing, and one thing only to know that consciousness is the only reality, and it's only to the degree in which something feels real and natural for you that you're going to experience it in your world. This is the truth that will set you free. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in checking out any of my other resources, I will leave the links down below to one-on-one coaching, my blog, and my social links. So do not forget to check them out. Also, do not forget to check out these videos over here. Each video is a different topic, but it all pertains in how to manifest the very best life possible. So until next time, take care, be well, and never forget that consciousness is the only reality. And once you can feel it real, you can have anything you want. Happy manifesting, guys.